following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
We are back. Golenbock University. I'm Ralph Tyko with the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. Peter is joining us in a moment. Al Blumkin is here, and our guest is here, the esteemed former pitcher of the New York Yankees, Mr. Ralph Terry. Hello, Mr. Terry. Welcome to these airwaves, sir.
Hey, Al. Thank you. Yeah, thanks for the nice introduction.
Well, well-deserved. You were a big part of Yankee history, and I'm thrilled to have you. I just want to say that. And Peter will be here in a moment. In the meantime, we've been talking a little off air, and I think one of your major accomplishments, as if you can top being a World Series hero, but one of your major accomplishments is that you qualified for the senior golf tournament. You were a qualifier. But that in itself is one thing. That's a major accomplishment. But I learned today that you took up the game of golf in 1957 while rehabbing an injury. And you were like, how old? This was in 57.
I was 22 when I started playing. When I first touched the golf club.
Right.
Oh, Ralph.
Look at these prodigies today. Tiger Woods was playing at 5 years old, this, that, and the other thing. 22 when you first touched the golf club. And when did you take it seriously? When did you take the game seriously, at least enough to progress, to qualify for the senior tournament? You played at Pebble Beach. You were a qualifier there. How did that come about?
Well, I guess I started playing golf as therapy. I had a car wreck in November of 57, and I spent over a couple of months in traction, and I went to spring. I was fortunate; they didn't have to rebuild my fractured hip socket. And I went to spring training, and I couldn't do my running. And a couple of the old coaches liked to play golf, and I used to walk around and watch them. And they said, "Well, Ralph, go play golf and rent a set of clubs, carry your bag, and walk, and get in shape." So every day at noon, they'd let me off and practice, and I'd go play golf and hit ground balls and play till dark. And I really got involved in golf as therapy. Then I'd meet a pro. This was down in Florida, and spring training, meet a pro, come through, and he'd show me how to get out of a sand trap or how to correct my slice, and I just kind of learned along the way, and I had a lot of good friends, met a lot of nice golf pros along the way that give me a tip here and there, and
you were telling me that you associated with Arnold Palmer, for one, Gary Player.
Mm-hmm. And Nicholas, I met him down in spring training. In 61, the spring of 61, I met with Arnold Palmer at a course in the country club in Miami. He was part owner there, and then down there in the wintertime he was hanging out. And this is before he bought Bay Hill in Orlando. But the sports writer Oscar Fraley, I don't know if you remember the name of Oscar, was a famous writer, a little guy. He had Fearless Fraley, and he knew Arnold. He set me up with a meeting to get a job with Arnie in the off season. And my wife and I, Tanya, we met with Arnie and Winnie in Miami, and I said, Arnie, you're the greatest player in my lifetime, and I'd like to work for you in the off season down here, and can't play baseball forever. And I said, I can shoot a 72 once in a while. I'll make a couple of long putts or get lucky. And he said, I'll teach you. He said, you can work for me 5 days a week. And, if you work in the morning, you play in the afternoon. If you work the afternoon, you play in the morning. I don't think it's fair to put a young player behind the counter, in his good years when he could be developing. And he said, I'll teach you everything I know about golf. He said, my way, I don't know anybody else's way. And, so, I said, okay, I'll see you when the season's over. Well, 61, we had the great team, and, when Maris and Mantle hit all the home runs, and, I had a good year, 16-3, and we had our first, son was born, and so I called Arnie, and I said, Arnie, I got to take a rain check. We had our first child. My wife's a baseball widow in the summer and a golf widow in the winter. And my baseball career is picking up a little bit, so I'm going to have to take a rain check. And he said, okay, Ralph, anytime call me, you need a job. And we've been friends for many years.
Oh, wow.
Oh, Ralph, by the way, I saw on your page that your birthday was 5 days ago. Happy birthday.
Thank you. Yeah.
82, you're to be commended for not only making it to 82, but making it with all your memories. Everything's intact for you, and that's incredibly terrific. I understand from Jim Russell, who is probably your biggest fan. Would you talk about your relationship? He told me that he introduced you to Tanya, your now wife, and when you were engaged, he was a fan of yours, a youngster, and you guys have stayed in touch all these many years, and he was responsible for getting you to, if not responsible, he helped you get your thoughts together to put out the book that you put out. Can you talk to your relationship with him and how writing the book came into your mind?
Well, Jim's brother-in-law was a teammate of mine in high school, and so we've known each other for a long time. He didn't introduce me to my wife. I introduced him to her years later.
Yes, that's what I meant. You introduced when you were engaged, and he was just a kid, right? And he was just so thrilled with that you guys have been friends all these many years.
Yeah, anyway, he got the author, John Wooley, who wrote my book, right down the middle. And and Wooley, he's written some books, horror stories, Wes Cravens and stuff. He does so anyway, they wanted to, from this little town I lived in, of 2,500 people, and we grew up, not far from Commerce, Oklahoma, where Mickey Mantle was born, and our little high schools were in the same conference. And I was in junior high when Mickey was a senior, and I saw him play all through high school, and we were both signed by the same baseball scout, and Tom Greenwade, and his twin brothers, Ray and Roy. They were a year behind me in school, and they were identical twins. But anyway,
they were pretty good too, were they not?
Yeah, they both played minor league baseball. Ray was a right-hand hitter, and Roy was a left-hand hitter. And I think Roy might have made it, but he tore his knee up sliding into second, and playing for Monroe, Louisiana in the Cotton States League in the minor leagues. And
right.
But they were both fine athletes. They were fast, strong, and Roy was a low ball hitter, left-handed, and Ray was a high ball hitter. Ray had a little trouble with the curveball. But anyway, yeah, we and John Wooley, the author, they were him and Jim were classmates, and they wanted to do a book, and I said no to people who want to do a book for years, and but they were in my hometown, and they wanted to tell it for their hometown and friends and everything, and so that's what happened.
Well,
it was very enjoyable. The book was very enjoyable.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Ralph, Jim told me something that I didn't know, and he offered to send me the book, but since it wouldn't arrive before this interview, he told me this. I remember talking to you this afternoon and telling you how much I admire two-sport athletes, just for one reason or another. How about this? You're a world-class athlete in two sports. It says a lot. What I didn't realize is that you were not only a golfer, a baseball player, you were a basketball player. You were offered a football scholarship to as a receiver, not a pitcher, to what is now Oklahoma State, if I'm not mistaken. And that's four sports right there. Right up there in the Jackie Robinson League of multi-athletic ability. Which sport did you really enjoy playing just for the fun of it, not for thinking I'm going to sign for money or I'm going to play golf for this or whatever? Which sport did you really enjoy for the pure satisfaction of playing?
The one I enjoyed the most was basketball. And we used to, small town, we used to have a gymnasium, and they'd leave it open in the downtown. They'd leave it open till midnight, the lights on. We'd go there and play, kids, and go in and choose up sides and play till midnight. And anyway, it was I really enjoyed it, and I signed a letter of intent to play football at Oklahoma A&M in those days. They called it. It's Oklahoma State now, and they wanted me. I was a tight end, but they wanted me as a passer because I had a good arm when they run a spread or shotgun offense, to throw the ball. And I ended up. We had baseball was good, and I signed baseball, and I made the right decision.
Yes, you did. Yes, you
we
did.
Kids, in those days, we played whatever was in season, and so.
Okay, Ralph, when we talked off the air, I told you what I admired the most. You were, and I'll use the expression, the World Series GOAT, as they used to say in the New York papers, one year, and the World Series hero the next year. It took 2 years from 60 when Al's Pirates and Bill Mazeroski hit a home run that you will have no trouble forgetting, I'm sure. But you'll also have no trouble forgetting how you came up big in the seventh game of the 62 World Series against my Giants. I was a Giant fan. And so you came off the canvas, so to speak, and that speaks highly of you, and I wanted to commend you for that, and at the same time ask you, when McCovey's ball was hit, well, first let's go back to who you were going to pitch to. I understand that Casey came out, or Ralph Houck at that time came out and said, do you want to walk Cepeda? Because he...
walk McCovey.
Do you want to walk McCovey and pitch to Cepeda? And you're a right-handed pitcher. Cepeda was a right-handed hitter, McCovey a left-handed hitter. What was behind that decision?
Howard comes out, and it was funny. Howard came out, and a couple of infield, Richardson, Kubek, shortstop and second baseman came out, and Howard said, first thing he says, it's pretty tight, you know. It runs on second and third, and we're leading 1-0. There's 2 out, and he said, I don't know what the hell I'm doing out here. His laugh was really kind of funny, you know. He said, how do you feel? I said, I feel okay, you know. And well, like, how's your stuff? And he looked at Elson, and yeah, he's still got good stuff. And he said, what I'm getting at is, how's your control, you know? I had good control that game. I only had 1 3-ball count on a hitter in the whole game. It was Jim Davenport in about the 5th inning. And he struck out on a 2-2 fastball, and the umpire called it a ball. That's the only guy who had 3 balls on. He got behind on. But anyway, so he said, would you rather put McCovey on and pitch to Cepeda? And I thought right away, well, it's a National League ballpark. In those days, the National League umpire was behind home plate, and a lot of pressure on him. Anything close on the road, you're probably not going to get the call. And so I said, let's, and with the bases loaded, I said, well, we had first base open. Let me go after him with good stuff, high and tight, low and way out of the strike zone, and then if we fall behind him on the count, we'll put him on. And it's okay. That was the plan, you know. And it was funny. Richardson and Kubek were talking, and Tony said to Bobby, he said, I hope he doesn't hit it to you. You've already made a couple of errors in the series. I was laughing. It's funny. Willie Mays was on second. He was laughing. Other kids. So. But anyway, first pitch I threw him was a low outside curveball, and he swung and hit off the end of the bat, and it was straightaway right field, medium depth. And Marison moving in for the catch, and the ball, the wind took it just over across the foul line, and out of play, couldn't catch it. And so then I threw him a fastball inside, high inside, because I thought that was the best place to get him. And I didn't get it inside quite far enough, but Richardson was playing him way over in the hole to pull, you know, like they play a lot of hitters now. And I looked at him and I thought, you know, he's playing him too far over. I thought about moving him more straight away because he'd gotten a hit in the series right up the middle. A little grounder brother made the outfield grass, but because he was over shifted, you know, it was he got a hit, and I thought about having him don't play him so much to pull. But then I thought about it. We'd played together so many years. I thought no sooner moved the fielder around and the ball be hit right through they were playing. You know, they knew where to play hitters. And I thought, you don't move a 7-time Gold Glover, you know, or All-Star. So sure enough, I threw it inside, and he hit it, whack, and it was. Went by me, it was about shoulder high. I knew it was catchable. I had somebody over there who played him, you know, out in short right field, and whacked right at him, and that was it.
It wasn't hit all that hard, was it? Was there ever a doubt in your mind that it would be caught?
Yeah, I knew it was catchable. It was hit. It had some top spin on it. You know, it was a kind of a sinking line drive, and
right.
He caught it.
It was hit like a rocket.
Yeah, it was hit hard, but he had.
It was hit like a rocket.
Like a rocket. I hear the voice of the professor.
Yes, they finally let me come to the party. They finally let me come to the party. Thank heaven.
What happened with the phones? It didn't ring through?
They wouldn't let. They said, no, you can't. You can't talk to these people.
Bad professor.
Bad phones.
Would you two talk about the interview you guys did 35 years ago for your book, Peter?
Well, I'm sure one of us will remember it.
No, Ralph remembered it this afternoon.
You're kidding.
Yeah, I remember you came out to Rock Syndicus out at the golf course.
That's right. That's exactly right. Oh, I was absolutely thrilled. Yeah.
Yeah. You got to see that golf course now. It's the most beautiful place you ever saw.
I'm sure. Are you still in the golf business?
Well, I'm an inactive pro. I've retired, and I live out here in western Kansas. And
you're in western Kansas. Oh.
Yeah, out near Dodge City, and a little town of Larned, Kansas. They had a Fort Larned on the old Santa Fe Trail where the wagon trains went west, and so I married. My wife is from here, small town, about 4,500, and so I enjoy small town living.
That's nice. That's nice. Oh, it's so great to hear your voice again. It's just fabulous.
It's a long time. I know you.
I know it. I know it. The funny thing is, it seems like yesterday.
Yeah,
I'm sure it seems like yesterday for you as well. You used to be 45 years old.
I did, and that's something.
I know.
Yeah.
I know it.
You too, yeah.
I know it. I know
Everybody used to be 45 years old.
Exactly.
I know. And we didn't appreciate it at 45. We thought we'd be 45 forever.
Yeah.
I'm sure on some level we're all still 45 on some level. I'm sure
true.
that's true. Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Yogi was going to all these funerals, and Carmen said, "Yogi, how come you're going to all these funerals lately?" He says, "Well, if you don't go to theirs, they won't go to yours."
Oh,
it's
beautiful.
Funny.
I still have the recordings of all of those interviews that I did.
Yeah.
They're just priceless. They're marvelous.
They've got to go to either the Hall of Fame or the Smithsonian, I would say.
Yeah, I used the Yogi quote today after the Steelers lost the football game. I said that to paraphrase Yogi, it says that Steelers make too many wrong mistakes.
Yeah. All right, we were talking about a switch hitter one day, and he said, that guy's amphibious.
Carmen told me that they bought a piano, and Yogi went to her and said, "Carm, how does this thing work?"
Yeah.
But you know what? Say what you want about Yogi Berra. Unlike Mickey, unlike Billy, he had a long time marriage. He lived in a mansion. He had the first nickel he ever made. He had beautiful children. He had a wonderful life. This guy had it all.
Yeah. Yogi never got any bad press,
No.
They'd say, "Yogi, how about this guy? He's so-and-so." "Oh, yeah. Oh, no, that guy. He never gave him anything. He was right,
No, right.
What was it like playing for him as a manager?
Well, I think Yogi got to be a better manager after his first year. But we won the pennant, and we lost in World Series in 7 games, and then they hired Johnny Keane. And we weren't that good, in '64.
Yeah.
And, anyway, Yogi had a mitt. He caught all those hard throwers, Rashi and Reynolds, and he was so padded it's not like a pillow. He'd hit it, thud. And he had his 2 fingers on the outside of the mitt, because those guys threw so hard. But I liked Elston Howard the way he had a mitt that really popped, and I told him, I hear it pow, I said, "Well, man, I got it today, Yogi was he was the quickest guy around home plate fielding. He would have been a great goalie. He bounced on dribblers and bunts and everything. Boy, he was great, quick.
Good. Ralph, may I ask you what an old-timers game was like when you were a young player, what it was like for you?
Oh yeah, I remember, seeing, great players show up. In those days, they only had one old-timers game in New York. Nowadays, everybody has one. But, we saw, guys like Satchel Paige and, guys, a lot of the great old players showed up. And
right.
that
had
was
to be
pretty
terrific.
special. Bob Feller pitched, Dizzy Dean, saw them they go out and pitch, and
yeah.
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good indeed. Who helped you on the way up in the Yankee system? You were signed by the same scout that signed Mickey Mantle. You came into organized ball. Who was your first coach? Who were your first coaches, managers, and who helped you?
Well, the first coach was Jim Turner, pitching coach. I didn't have a very good curveball. I threw hard, and he taught me an overhand curveball. And then later on, I got traded to Kansas City. I had a couple of Johnny Sane was a pitching coach there, and Spud Chandler.
Oh.
And they were Spud Chandler taught me how to throw a screwball, and then but Johnny Sane was the best pitching coach. He turned out more 20-game winners, and really helped a lot of pitchers, and he and also professional attitude towards pitching. It was he looked at it this way. He didn't mind taking a loss. He didn't like losing. But he felt that the more time you went out to that mound, the more opportunities you had to win.
Sure.
And that was a good attitude. So we understood. We were well coached in the psychological winning and losing, and so he was very special. And in little details that he worked on your bunting or fielding your position or change of speed or pick off plays, or little things like that could win you an extra 3 or 4 games, in a year. And a lot of times that makes a difference, and really studying the hitters. And he was a great pitching coach. And we also had a great hitting coach, Wally Moses. I thought was great, and had a real influence on that 61 team.
I just 4 catchers hit over 20 home runs each.
Yeah. They had 62 homers.
Yeah, that wasn't a bad staff.
$1 million infield.
Yeah, absolutely. A great defensive infield. You told me a story off air that I'd like you to tell Peter, because he was so close with Billy Martin. Would you tell me about how they, after the Copacabana instance, and you weren't there, you told me that you and the Moose were babysitting Hank Bauer's kids.
That's right.
Yeah, we were at the Concourse Plaza Hotel there out in the Bronx there near the stadium, and Moose was babysitting them. I was still there, but I went to bed earlier, but we never heard anything about who started what or anything. He just never talked about it. I guess somebody got in an argument with somebody. Anyway,
Hank Bauer had punched the guy, punched out the drunk bowler who was yelling really nasty things at Sammy Davis Jr. At least that's what Hank told me.
Hank actually told you he hit him. Wow.
Yeah.
Cool. That because that was a well-kept secret. And when we talked this afternoon, Ralph, I don't think you knew that to this day. You did not know that.
No,
they never talked about it.
And I didn't care about it. Anyway, they traded Billy.
Yep.
For the season. I was in that trade. Billy and I got traded to Kansas City.
Oh, that's right.
I was just a young player thrown in the deal.
Right.
And they, when they get rid of you, they make up a story, why they got rid of you. They said Billy Martin was a bad influence on Mickey Mantle.
That's what they said, yeah.
He said, I was a bad influence. He won the Triple Crown last year.
That's right. That's exactly right. No,
Ralph,
what
was your reaction when you came back to the Yankees in 1959?
I got traded to Kansas City, and I hadn't pitched much. And the first game I faced the Yankees in Yankee Stadium was the second game of a doubleheader on Sunday. And I had a man was batting third. I threw him a 3-2 curveball in the outside corner, and I thought it strike three, a real good pitch, and the umpire called it a ball. Well, they never had another base runner until 2 out in the 8th inning. And I ran out of gas and lost the game.
Oh.
But so anyway, the next time I faced them was later in the season in Kansas City. I shut out Bob Turley 1-0, and the Yankees only got shut out twice in the entire year.
Wow.
Me an early win. And so a couple of years later, I was in Kansas City, and it was near the trade deadline, and Harry Kraft called me and Hector Lopez over in the stands before they let the crowd in, and there had been rumors that we might be traded to Boston or Cleveland, and so Harry Kraft, the manager, said, well, we just made a little trade. I said, well, where are we going? He said, going to New York, the Yankees. All right.
Yeah.
So I get there, and Casey said, I got rid of you, kid, and I got you back. And you're pitching Thursday night against Baltimore. I lost 4-3 to Lloyd Willow.
Wow.
The baby birds.
Yeah.
Wow. What was your finest moment as a golfer, Ralph?
Well, I qualified in the qualifying Q school for the senior tour. They only had 8 spots, and I got in a playoff. I got the 7th spot. Wow! And somebody once said, "What a difference one stroke, one shot can make in your life." And now all of a sudden I'm exempt, and and I'm playing with Arnie and Jack and Gary and Chi-Chi and
wow,
and all getting to play with all these guys, And they said, Ralph, you're doing pretty good, but while you were throwing curveballs, we were getting out of sand traps for 30 years. So well, show me how to hit this shot, So they worked on me a lot. I got a lot of help, made some great friendships, and they would love baseball too, And
sure.
Like Nicholas, he'd been a catcher, and it was pretty good.
Really?
And
wow.
Yeah, but I told Arnie one time, I said, you were always Mickey's favorite player, and because you power hitter, and he always bet on you in the Masters or the U.S. Open. Arnie liked that.
Yeah.
Wow. Mickey, Arnold, what? How about the Pope? Did you get to see the Pope at all, Ralph? You didn't spend any time with him?
Yeah.
Well,
why did you say that?
Yeah, why do you say that?
I don't know. Just all these people that you're hobnobbing with, Golenbock, Mickey.
Yeah, Golenbock and the Pope.
Well, it's ironic that you say that. I do have a story about the Pope. Okay. I've got a friend in Boston named Dan Ray, R-E-A. He has radio talk show goes over, and he covered big events. And when the Pope came over years ago, he toured with him, and every day they would put articles on the table, and he'd bless them. And he wrote down a note and laid it on the table and blessed Ralph Terry's golf game.
All right.
I don't know if it helped my game, but the blessing was I'm still playing.
That's wonderful.
And to this day, in the cold, Peter, you weren't with us earlier. Ralph, would you hit 150 golf balls in the cold at age 82?
That's what they do.
Some cool beans.
Yeah.
Well, the sun was shining and the temperature's up in the 40s, but it's been down in single digits for quite a while, and will be again tomorrow. But it sure felt
Ralph,
great.
what amazes me is that the whole game of golf is based on the rotation of hips, and you were recovering from a severe hip injury. You got it back. You rehabbed it to the point where you could play golf, hit a baseball, that sort of thing.
Right. Yeah, right. They worked me really hard to rehab. I had a couple little gals were in the rehab, and they tortured me. I really worked, and I had to change my delivery a little bit. I over followed through, and I had to do a little crow hop to get back in fielding position, and it was funny. It made me a little bit more overhand in my delivery, and I was talking to a surgeon one time I was playing golf with, and I told him I had to change my delivery, and he said, it might have made you more effective. And I never thought about that.
Right.
Embarrassing, but it was. I had Cleat Boyer on third, so I didn't have to worry about things hit over down the third baseline.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
That's absolutely for sure.
Ralph, did it take you any length of time to shake off the Mazeroski home run? Because we had one of the friends of this show is Mark Littell, who served up the home run to Chris Chambliss in 1976, gave the Yankees a pennant. He seems to have handled that extremely well. Did it affect you much at all, personally, or?
Well, it was. I remember Whitey Ford said, the winners got 6,000 a man, the losers got 4,800 a man.
Wow.
And he said, well, I guess I was going to buy a Cadillac, but I guess I'll have to buy a Ford, this winter. But you take down what the winners and losers get at $500,000 or 500,000 or 600,000, 400,000, the differential.
That's right. Yeah.
But it's quite a spread. But really, it wasn't the money. I came in the clubhouse, and I talk about all this in the book, right down.
Yeah, I know. I just want to have the audience to hear. Yeah.
But so I was sitting in front of my locker, and Mickey was in tears, and the guys were, it was really a tough loss, and so the clubhouse guy came by and said, "You want something to drink?" And I said, "Yeah, I better have a drink. How about a Schlitz or a Budweiser?" And he said, "We don't have that. All we got is Iron City beer or Hudipole."
Oh God, yeah.
And I said, "Well, give me a Hudipole, beer, think about it, shake it's awful." So I felt bad for Casey. We felt it was his last year. He'd more or less kind of said goodbye to us.
Yeah.
Before the game, seventh game, he said, "Boys, I won't get to say goodbye to you. You had a good year, and I'll have to go on TV and congratulate Murtaugh, and he'd congratulate me." And but he was kind of saying goodbye, and there'd been rumors about it being his last year, and he later on he said, "I'll never make the mistake of being 70 again,"
Yeah.
But I went in office.
Funnier when we weren't 70, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. he was taking the Yankee uniform off for the last time. I thought about that later on. His pants were down around his knees. His jersey was unbuttoned, and he was having a beer sitting there. He was a tired old gentleman.
Yeah.
And he said, "What's up, kid?" And I said, "Casey, I feel bad losing it for you this way, you know." And he said, "Well, how are you trying to pitch him?" I said, "I was trying to pitch him, you know, low. I knew he was a high ball hitter and low outside, and be trying to pull the ball. I just couldn't get the ball down. I'd warmed up 5 times, sit down.
Wow.
I warmed up on this one mound that was real steep, and I just throw so much on it that I got in the game. They had a big high flat mound, and when my front foot come down, it landed early, and everything I threw was high. I couldn't get the ball down, and so Blanchard was catching. Yogi was in left field. Nelson Howard had been hit on the wrist in the earlier game and fractured his wrist. Bob Friend hit him with a pitch. And, so anyway, Blanchard, first pitch I threw, man, was high, and he come out the mound and said, "You got to get the ball down. This guy's a high ball hitter." So I'll get it down. Well, the next one I got down about belt high. He hit it over the fence. And I said, "Okay, man, I just couldn't get the ball down." And
I was there. I was a freshman at Pitt. I was there for that game.
Were you?
Field. Yeah. It's a lot of fun.
So anyway,
yeah.
Casey says, "Well, as long as you pitch," he said, "you're not always going to get the ball where you want to." He said, "That's a physical mistake." He said, "As long as you weren't going against the scouting report," he said, "then I wouldn't sleep good at night." He said, "Forget it, kid, and come back and have a good year next year."
Which I did.
Wonderful advice, you know.
Yes. Tell me about what it was like to play for him all those years. What do you remember most about him, Casey?
Casey?
Yeah.
Well, Casey was, he called everybody by their last name. It was always, you know, Ford, Mantle, you know, DiMaggio, somebody said, and the only 2 he ever called by the first name were Yogi and Hank. And somebody said, "What does he call you?" I said, he always says, hey, you, go get your finger mitt and go down there and warm up. So one time we're on a train from Boston to Cleveland, and I just punched the pennant in Boston, and I come through the club car with a dining car, and he's sitting with some reporter, and he had that gravelly bourbon voice. He said, "Terry, you look like Walter Johnson out there today." And I said, "Great. Man, he knows my name."
I'm going to ask you about a very obscure ball player who you played with both in Kansas City and in New York, and that was Joe DeMaestri. I think had Casey taken Kubek out like he used to do a lot.
Well, he sent DeMaestri in after 2.
Yogi and have DeMaestri at short.
Ralph, he put DeMaestri in after Kubek was hit in the throat in that game.
Yeah, I know, but before Kubek was hit in the throat, the move might not have been. Looking back, it might not have been a bad idea.
Yeah.
But who knows?
That's just a second guess.
Yes. Well, yes.
The ball took a vicious hop there. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, I mean that quite frankly was the series right there. More than the pitch that Ralph threw. That was.
Now the play with
Coach had a
cover first base.
Yeah, and it dribbled between him and Moose, and I got it. You take it. Oh hell. And then Hal Smith. Well, I'll tell you this. Coach had Hal Smith struck out on a 2-2 high inside fastball, and Smith had followed through, and the bat was actually pointing at the pitcher, and he jerked it back, and the umpire didn't call it.
Oh.
And if they'd had the replay like they do anymore, you know, they'd have been, you know, it would have shown it. He even appealed to
more than broke
Coach
his wrist.
third. More than it was flagrant. His bat was actually pointed at the pitcher, and he jerked it back. And he even been struck out. The very next pitch, he hit it over the fence for a 3-run homer.
Right.
And so there was a couple of bad calls. I got in the fourth game, I lost 3-2, and it was one of the worst calls I ever saw. Was we had the bases loaded, and Yogi hits one off the end of the bat to third base, and Hope was playing overshifted. And so he comes over, gets the ball, and touches third, force out, throws the first. Yogi is coming down on his first step after the bag, and the umpire called him out. National League umpire.
Yeah, I ran that. On the tape, I ran that in slow motion. On the tape, the tape of the World Series, I ran that play on slow motion years ago several times, and Yogi was safe on that.
Yeah. So,
and
anyway,
that's a Pittsburgh fan that said
yeah,
that.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, who you can believe, me or your own eyes,
Right.
But Yogi was safe on that play.
You remember that, yeah. So we were having a big inning, that took us out of the inning.
Yeah.
But so anyway, and there was another force out at second where Quebec had a guy force out at second, and the umpire called him safe. In that game, and we ended up losing that game 3-2. But they were, we'd blow them out 16-0, 15-1, and then we'd lose a close game, So, but it was a crazy World Series.
Certainly was.
Absolutely. Hey guys, this was terrific. Thank you, Mr. Terry.
Thank you, Mr. Terry. This was fantastic.
Hey guys, you call me Ralph. I'm too old.
Hey, Ralph.
Hey Peter, good talking to you, Peter. I keep up with you.
It's wonderful, Ralph. It's just wonderful.
Thanks for the nice thing you said about me in your book Dynasty.
Well, you're very, very welcome. It was my pleasure. Believe me.
Yeah, this was an honor for me.
Okay, guys.
Thanks very much.
What a great day for the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network, ladies and gentlemen. I'm with goosebumps. Thank you, Ralph. Thank you, Al.
Hey, guys.
Thank you,
guys.
Professor Peter. And we'll be back. I'm going to end the conversation, the program, like I do most. I implore the audience, if you would, please box up some lightly used children's books and take them to the Head Start program in whatever community you live. The books are needed. Kids need to get with the books, become school ready, develop a passion, get their noses out of the games and the devices just for a bit, read and discover what we all have discovered, that books are our companion, our friends, and the authors are terrific. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Alan. Thank you, Ralph. Adios, everybody.
Thank you. Thanks for plugging my book.
Okay.
Your book is terrific. We'll give it a better plug. Where can your book be gotten? I am assuming Amazon.
Yeah, you can get it Amazon or Facebook. Just look at Ralph Terry book, right down the middle, and you can pick it up there.
Very enjoyable. I have it, and I read it last year.
All right.
Good.
All right, guys. Enjoyed it.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Good night, everybody.